Hello. We are here, 2022. Many of us have not really questioned our existence in this year. And as we understand the time and date, we are not even in the right frame of time and date, as it has been changed from the original people who kept the time and date of the planet. But I'm here to talk about is the people known as Black Americans. Us are a special people. As even the word black, which was not chosen by us, but given to us by a power structure to belittle our existence and to speak of us in a framework of being nothing in this country that we live in. But many of us have we have latched on to that word black. We just had a very big movement of Black Lives Matter, where black lives didn't matter. This organization was able to filter in billions of dollars and then misappropriate those dollars of people who donated what they understood those dollars to go to, which was to black people. But we are still with an organization with billions of dollars waking up in the same condition that we woke up in yesterday. Because just like the NAACP, this organization was co-opted and money was given out to the Democratic Party, where big corporations donated under the name of George Floyd and many other victims of brutality of this system, where they have used their death. It's like putting them in a meat grinder and churning out pate to serve up for profit. And we participated. This is the irony. They get us to participate in our own demise at billions of dollars. When we are called on to do the same mass movement on our behalf, truly, we find ourselves lost. And part of that loss is engineered in us to move against ourselves and not make great strides. We are not like everyone else. This system actually is afraid of us, as they understand we as a people can annihilate supremacy. And with the annihilation of supremacy, it's annihilation of many other things throughout the facets of operation and the system that would also be destroyed. A new world order, we have that power to bring in a new world order from the order of those who are in control of the world today. But we are kept in this soup of illusion. They've created a world for us to exist in, and we operate in this world on multiple levels. There are those of us when we're looking at, per se, the government and most black people who perform for their masters. These people they usually pick immigrants, black immigrants, to fill these positions because black people, or when we're talking about the original people of this land, most immigrants do not hold any importance to that group of people. They are here to get what their masters are offering and to do the bidding as face pieces that black people can be a part of the system also. And it is viable and not one that is so deadly to your existence. But the system of supremacy always shows it breaks all its tools. For those who are willing to serve these so-called masters. But what really got me thinking was thinking about Lotto. And I was thinking how a black woman in Chicago started the numbers game. I'm not sure who started the numbers game in New York, but this was a black creation. And usually in the world, when you create something, you can get residuals from that creation. But in this case, everything that people of this land, the original people of this land, create, this system comes to destroy it, and take it, and then build upon it and make money from it. Now, understand, Numbers was a game that was based in the community. It's grassroots. Now that's something that the system could not recreate. When we talk about things that original people create for themselves, there's this humanistic part of the things that we create, that when the system comes, arrest everyone who they believe who was involved, and crushes and breaks it up, and butchers the system, and then they create it. It doesn't have that grassroots anymore. But also, the system does not pay the family any royalties for using their creations. We have multitudes of examples from Henrietta Lacks, as they used her cellular structure to build medicines for cancer, and a multitude of other things, never paying her family the money that they pulled from her body. You have situations like Manhattan Beach in California, robbing family of their legacy through the land. Of course, we have what happened in Oklahoma, what they called the Black Wall Street. The system slashing, burning, butchering, killing. We have instance, and when we talk about before the Civil War in this country, where black people were doing business and doing well. We have the Freeman's Bank, that money, of course, was stolen and never recovered, and the federal government never decided to replace that wealth of legacy to the people and families who were involved in that bank or banking system. Everything that we or they create for us, such as like an NBA, these people are getting crumbs. Even though people become very excited at this, $1 million $23 million, $100 million payout. But these are crumbs for operative slaves in the system, creating an illusion of comfort and equalness in the world, as everything is all right in their vivid colors and bouncing balls down the court. And also NFL, the same concept is used. Where bodies are destroyed and they find themselves fighting for the right health care for concussions. But this system cares not about the native person. It is meant to destroy their will, their spirit, so they are not able to claim the land that they stand on. The system has used immigrants. They've weaponized them, right? They've brought all these immigrants into this country. They've poured them in over the years. It is a practice of warfare and their plan to keep the land that they've stolen and gotten through ill gains. As the native people of this land do not recognize themselves as such. And through immigration, they have fostered relationships with immigrants. For many native people who foster these relationships, they usually absorb into the culture of their partner. Like attempting to speak like they're Spanish, or if it's somebody French, trying to be more French, because they've been engineered to believe that they are worthless, they are ugly, and many parts of the world have agreed with this assessment. So even when we get into black and white relationships and we perceive that sex is the factor of change, we have to understand that they were raping us almost as soon as they laid their eyes upon us. And many people would go, "Oh, that was rape. That's not love." But understand, the rape came first, not the love. And this is why you will find in a lot of those relationships that they can call you nigga, or they can do questionable things to you, because in the root of everything, the rape is what came first. And you perceive that time has absorbed that brutality. But as you see, you're still dying in the streets. You still have ghettos. There is still a dichotomy of people who are treated beneath the totem pole. And all those things have been created. And I mean, all those things, the NFL, everything, the ghetto, these things have been set in place to hold you back from ever opening your eyes to the truth. You know, you watch television and there's smiles and multicolors and the world is all one, but that's psychological fuckery to compel you into a state of willingly giving up your power. Many of us think, that kind of thing is over. And if you are ignorant, or if your eyes are open, this power structure accounts for everybody and what they're doing and how they're doing it. And for the original people of this land, they're accounting for everything you do, from the degrees that you get, from the alcoholism that you're in, to how many families are broken. Every one of us are accounted for in whatever function we are in this country, because they have to then build what is next to keep you chained through your own existence. The strongest cage that they can build is out of you. You are the strongest thing that can keep you bonded into depravities, engineered by a system that's watching you. Your every move. Even the story of slavery appears to have many questionable points of reference that many, the story of that many of us are African and they brought Africans here. And it appears that is not the case. It appears that many people from this country were shipped out. Not a staggering number, but they shipped native people out and shipped them out to Africa and shipped them out to the Bahamas. And we have been told a story again to always lessen our existence of who we are and what has actually happened. Many of us perceive we are like everyone else. We say, everyone has bad relationships, or this happens to everyone else. But you have to understand, when it happens to you as a native person, it is multiplied because, again, you do not see the warfare that is being subjected to you on a daily basis and in every facet of the operation. You perceive it to be like everyone else. And when you think about everybody else, there are no groups of people who have been subjected to the brutality of this thing called racism as we have. They have experienced a sprinkle to what we have endured in building and fighting for this country. We and understand the brutality has been so deep that, there are words like barbecue that people think, oh, it's about barbecuing, meat. No, that's about barbecuing native people, where people would set us aflame alive and take our charred parts, our liver, our spleen, our tongue, our lips, as souvenirs. Also doing the same thing with lynchings, cutting our body parts up, castrating us, cutting the babies from the wombs of Native women. The brutality has never stopped. And then to have us incorporate that brutality upon ourselves as we take on wanting to be white, or the construct of white, taking on that understanding of hate, where we can now create gangs that will kill each other on sight. And when these gangs decide to stop killing each other and come together, you'll have a faction of the government, from the FBI, to come in to stir up the war again, where you have had the crack cocaine era started through the Contras, and this government selling drugs or cocaine to California, gangs creating a drug epidemic of crack. It's one thing for someone to catalog the butchery, but it's another thing for people who are original to the land to wake up. We have marched in the streets. We have been co-opted through the NAACP, through Black Lives Matter. We have believe that getting their degrees where they pull the resources out of you for their lofty existences, where your community stay the same, as we have watched millions of talent come out of our ghettos to fertilize the existence of those who hate us and who are twisting the realities. I always ask myself, if you out of a certain neighborhood and you're calling out that neighborhood and you're making millions of dollars, why do you never turn around? And I'm not saying the whole neighborhood, like, oh, I gotta do the whole ghetto. No. The zip code you came out of, why is it not prospering? Why is it not doing something different? Why is it not looking better? And you'll find with most of us, we are not willing to do the work. We are willing to give the work to someone else to do. And we have to be the ones to do the work. You see, Jay-Z gave out, that money from the NFL and, gave it to a white organization where they were cutting off the dreads of these boys. And you'll find in most cases, when we give money to organizations that do not have our best interests. And again, who are able to, flip these monies into lofty living and moving against us as a people across the land. Many of us feel that we don't want to experience the bumps or the scrapes of going against the system, because it has shown you its brutality, its teeth. It is willing to do questionable things to your mind, your body. And that pain, many of us run from. We rather run to being their servants on the big screen. We are willing to be their servants and put on their uniforms and serve in their armed forces, or in their sports arenas. I'm making this recording to get you to think about your existence. That is artificial. We live in artificial existences that have been created specifically for Native people. This system has weaponized anything that you can imagine, from people to things, to products, to the education system. Every facet of operations is weaponized against you, as it looks inviting, as they are smiling at you and saying, you're safe, it's all right. We have laws in place. Laws are only as good as those who are willing to uphold those laws. Because we have seen that these laws can change on a dime. We must be willing to create and make our own. We must be willing to go beyond. And we're so creative as a people. But the creativity stops when it comes to creating, if that was a new money system, if that was a new government. And I'm not talking about going into the government that exists. I'm talking about building a new government from the ground up, governing yourself, policing yourself, starting to create your own existence. Because you have to understand that this government that you are watching today took a lot out from the native people that were already here. Took a lot. Because without the native people already here, these people would have died. These people came and brought sickness upon our people. This was a kingdom, and it's not spoken to in that manner. We got kingdoms in Europe and Egypt, but in these lands they don't speak of this as a kingdom, but it was a kingdom of people who were able to maintain the land, maintain the balance of nature. When the European got here, every stream on this land was not poisoned. It was something that you can drink from. There weren't prisons here because they had a healthy system in place that dealt with questionable behavior. And not to say that these people didn't have wars at times and it was perfect, because it wasn't perfect, but it was better than what came here. These people didn't have prostitutes or pimps. These people didn't have robbery of gold or precious jewels that these people may have found. Their existence and their psychology was different than what came here and what we exist in today. And we think this is common. We think that people, yes, were born with sin. So these evils that you see, robberies, rapes, these are not things that existed in this kingdom. Women weren't worried about being raped. Again, the psychology was different. But you're not taught that. You're taught that this is the creme de la creme of existences. It is a manipulation. And again, all these pulleys and all these knobs and everything you see in this system is about keeping the land. You have Bill Gates who is buying up farmland. Now understand, these people work as a unit. They work together. When we're talking about together, the government, the businesses, the banks, the Vatican, the Queen, all these this organization, these organizations work as a unit together. And see, when you're looking at them, they have you perceive that, Verizon and T-Mobile are two different things. And as you see, you have Sprint and I forgot the other phone company's name. You have Sprint and the other phone company merge. And these mergers are very easily done because they're already together. And so you have a perception about yourself like, we're all separate. We're all, yeah, you're separate, but the system has looked at you as all as one in your various places of separateness. They're still monitoring you no matter what you're doing, because they understand if you start to come together, if you're willing to go through the knocks and scrapes and the pain of change for the betterment of your people, you become a threat to them, because you will knock their system off its pedestal of power or pillar. So, we send our children to their schools. And in those schools, we are brainwashed. In their colleges, we are brainwashed. In their TV programs, we are brainwashed. This war will meet you at every doorstep you stand. From the lowest of being addicted and homeless to the highest to being a CEO of one of these companies. You have to be the one to take your life back. You have to be the one willing, because you're willingly participating or willingly being ignorant. So now you have to willingly take it all back. To create. And I say that you have to be willing to live and willing to die for your people. It's a large order, but we have people who are out there fighting, and not all of them agree. And then there are some people who are fighting who are not really fighting for us at all. They're fighting to keep what is in place through wearing our uniforms and speaking a particular language of concern, where you'll see them really concerned about their pockets as they'll buy their cars. And people go, oh, there's nothing wrong with, having a car or having, nice clothes. And in this circumstance, there's a problem because of the reality that is all around us for 500 years. And if you are concerned about driving something nice, that means you're not really concerned about the death and mayhem that is happening around you. Because understand, nice will come, but we got to get dirty first. We got to be willing to take power. We have to be willing to take power and deal with the responsibility of taking power. Many of us become way too lazy. We want to be patted on the head by the master and say, you one of those good N-words. You're not like all the rest. We want them to take care of us like we are pedigreed dogs, which they've, kind of bred us to be. They blow the whistle, we obey, we stand to attention, we follow their orders, but we are not all the same people in the sense of we are different. We are not like everyone else. And again, they sell you these bills of goods because psychologically they have to lock you in. They have to make you believe. They have to make you vibrate at a certain frequency. Because they can't have you get agitated. They can't have you get creative. They can't have you get questionable. They can't have you do research about your existence, who your family is, where you come from, which tribe you came from, who did what. Because understand, who told us our story? Someone who cared about us? Someone who loved us? Who gave us our education? Somebody who cared about us? Someone who loved us? Who created these jobs? Again, someone who cared about us? Someone who loved us? There has to be a amount of care. Because understand, when anybody who's black, I'm using the word black, who's on the frequencies or on the airways, should be talking about our suffering every day. And they don't. It's not like it's not even like it's happening. See, that's the illusion. That's the psychological fuckery. I mean, if you really think about it, there should be fires burning throughout the country from the brutality that we have faced and had to endure from this system. And it's because we are not willing to take it anymore. We are not willing to stand in the filth. And we are not willing to eat shit. On no level. And people perceive when we have money or shiny shit that we've made it. You haven't made it. You still at the bottom of the totem pole. You got shiny shit and money and no power. They still can come and tell you where you can live, how you're going to be educated, where you can go. Because you don't have no power. You have creature comforts and you have no power. When do you start to take the power as men? Because this system has taken, and I'll say this, if you're black, I'm using the word black again, if you are people who are brown skinned, who are copper colored, who are across this land, across this world, they've made all men who have melanin in their skin bitches, because these men leave their lands. And who do they leave their lands to? France, Europe, Chinese. These are your lands we're talking about. They got you believing that you can come to America, or go to France, or go to this place. Leave your land. But as you leave your land, they're there. Raping, maiming, killing, digging up the ground, taking the resources. Because they made you bitches. When we're talking about, in America, this 1%, I'm part of the 1%, or I'm a boss. No, you're not a boss. And the 1% on the plantation don't mean anything. You're asking the woman what she's bringing to the table. What do you bring to the table when you're on the plantation? Tell me. Oh, the master ain't give you a table. And everything you do is for the master. But they got you on some unbelievable fuckery, speaking to each other as you are the enemy of yourselves. Never speaking to the master in that way, never taking the challenge to him, but you take the challenge to each other? I will say that these people are crafty. They are crafty, and they are on their game every day. Every day. And you know what that means, though? It's time that we are on our game every day. That we are willing to move every day until it is rectified. Until what needs to be destroyed is destroyed and annihilated. Be it supremacy, and a host of other things. We are too much into the box, the square thing, the TV, the flat screen. And then we say we love our children? How? You show me how we have shown love to our children as we feed them to this system. We feed them into the schools, into the businesses, and God forbid if they perceive that our children are talented. It's just like on a plantation. What did the mother do when the master said, "Hey, that's a fine child you got right there"? "Oh no, he ain't nothing, or she ain't nothing." Because understood the master had plans. And we are feeding our children to these masters who have plans. And you're saying, I love my children? I would give my life for my children. No, you wouldn't. Because you'll prefer to have the shiny shit. The nice car, the house, some money. You'll prefer to have everything of the masters. You will lay your life down for the master and push your child right on into the meat grinder. I am watching people, the original people of this a land called America or Turtle Island. I am watching them ride on the train to the gas chamber with a smile on their face as they willingly step on the train, as they willingly take the ride every day. A level of responsibility must emerge. We must be willing to take power. We must be willing to live and die. We must be willing to take the responsibility of living, dying, and power. Because this system will not stop until your numbers have dwindled down to nothing and you are nothing more but a memory, a whisper. Well, I believe that hopefully I have said or spoken into you a truth that you can hear and you can see and you can feel, but that you are willing to move upon, act on, question your life, question your existence, question your family, question everything. You know, if you start to really talk a particular way and a family member starts to go, "Oh, you stupid, that's crazy," listen, this system has fail-safe systems in it, right? Built in people. It is built into people where people will stop you from moving forward. It's built into the system. If you start to talk against it, if you start to move against it, People are programmed to stop you at all facets of operation. Family, friends, the TV you watch will try to stop you and shut you down and bring you back down into this low existence. We are not like everyone else. We are native to this land, which is ours. Now we must be willing to come together and take it. And you say how? I say take it. There is, of course, the legal, the legal ways of the system, which ain't meant to work for us. And then it's us building outside of this system, taking control of our lives, policing ourselves, governing ourselves, taking control of our neighborhoods, of our schools. I'm gonna tell you a people who does that. When you go into a Jewish community, every synagogue has a school on it. If you go into a public school in a Jewish synagogue community, they're not teaching what the school put out. They're teaching what they put out. If you go into a Jewish community, anything that's in their community, they have to sanction it to be in that community. You just don't go into a Jewish community and say, "Oh, I'm gonna set up shop and put a store here." Don't work that way. But this is the kind of lesson that we don't just allow everybody to come into our communities and set up shop. And those who we allow to come in and set up shop, they paying a tax that goes to building schools. They're paying a tax that's going to build legacy in our future. They ain't there sopping up all the money and taking it back to their country or taking it back to their community. But this means that men need to stand in their manhood. Men have to be willing to be men because they've engineered men to be bitches. When men are shooting each other, that's so much female energy. When you're not ready to go for the hands and then go for the hands and then be done, that's how you're supposed to solve or resolve problems if you have with another man. The hands. Now, we use the guns when you go to war with another country. Warfare. But on these streets, bitch fair. And you're engineered to do this. You're engineered to move in female energy as a man. Manhood will erase many problems right off the back. Womanhood will erase problems right off the back. But that means you have to be willing to fight yourself. You have to be willing to purge yourself. You have to be willing to be something different. And the truth of the matter is that not everybody can come. Not everybody can do this. Not everybody can be a helpful hand, because some of us are so indoctrinated onto the master, we will live and die for him. Let's us start today and what we must do for ourselves. Even when we talk about reparation, reparation will have to be ripped from this system. We will have to rip it from this system. Because they started with Abraham Lincoln with 40 acres and a mule. And his assassination changed everything. And they have been in that same stalemate of talking about studying, while you will see them give Asians $150 million, immigrants, land colleges. You see them give and give and give. And the original people of this land, they are shitting on you. They're not going to give you a damn thing. You have to be willing to take it. You have to be willing to grab it. You have to be willing to be a man. You have to be willing to be a woman. Our children need you. Our children need you both. You have to be willing to be a family. You know what? This thing that we are going to as a people in relationships, I don't think white people are going through that same thing. Even though they've had less babies, you still see them have families. And what's so amazing, you can see the most ugliest white woman, and she'll still have a white man. And they will still have babies. They might be funny shaped looking. They might be something out of the land of Oz. But you still see them making a family. Here we are, injected with how pretty and what we supposed to be wearing and how beautiful we gotta be. We're stupid. We're idiots. And this is one of the things that has to happen. You have to admit that you are an idiot. You've been played. The system understands. They had to infect the kids, the children of our ancestors, because they couldn't really affect the adults, because the adults knew better. But then the adults didn't do a very good job to keeping their children and understanding what they needed to do. But they also ripped those families apart. But understand, we also let them. You must have a certain amount of willingness that, you know what, you're not going to do what you've done to us. And you know what? If they killed us all today for fighting them for what we needed, for our survival, you know what? That would be a great legacy to go down in the books of history. Because god damn, those people did not tolerate and did not lay down and did not accept the brutality of this power structure. That they helped build, that they helped assemble, that they helped to bring into being. This country does not exist without us. There's always so much more to say as I think about stopping it, stop talking, and then something else jumps up in my mind. But we have to look at the reality. We have to stop living in this fairy tale and this lullaby that they have designed for us to be in. It is not all right for us to be sitting at a basketball game cheering for people playing sports. It's not okay when our children are dying. It's not okay for us to be like, oh, I love this actress or this singer, when we are dying, when we are at, our heads are in the guillotine. It may not be you today, but for a lot of people, they understand tomorrow comes and it's on their doorstep. Like the gentleman who got stabbed by the white girl. His mother wants the black community to come together when he was saying craziness about black women. Yeah, I'm using the word black. If we live in those spaces, you can't expect people to come out for you. Because you damned us. There were certain responsibilities that you must hold as a man, as being an original person, original people of the land. You have a certain amount of responsibility. You have a certain amount of honor that you must hold on to, that you must not relinquish. Okay, I think I will stop it here. I think anyone who is willing to listen to me speak, and I hope that it is helpful in what needs to happen for tomorrow. I will end in saying, love and balance. That is the power to be able to love and balance. For those of us who just love, you're going to get your heads cut off. But when you love and balance and understand purpose and understand meaning and understand honor and understand responsibility, and character, then you are not so easily fooled. You will not fall for many things, as they will come. When you step into this arena, these challenges will come. They will come for you. All right, my people. Much love, much respect. The day you're able to wake up to a new reality that is not this, you have done your job. I thank you for your time. Thank you.